All right. Hey,
Hey,
how you doing? I'm gonna download the replay
I'm
here.
fine. I had my first baseball practice of the year, so I'm really freaking sore. But, you know,
It's cool though. You can't get good without practice. All right.
anyways, does that look like a good match? Or, I mean, I don't like play a ton of tiny, so maybe
hmm
something else would be better.
I mean, it depends on what you want to learn. Like, I'm probably gonna end up teaching like overarching things that apply to every hero, rather than
Yeah.
just like really specific tiny things. So it
Yeah.
doesn't matter so much.
Yeah, one
Oh
thing that I
wait.
remember is that I I had just watched like this, like I think I randomed Tiny, or at least like I picked him without much, without like a good game plan. So I kind of just like looked up a quick guide, and
hmm
I just went like a build that I was not super comfortable with. Like I think it was like Soul Ring and Tranquil Boots or some shit, and I definitely like didn't really play it super efficiently.
hmm
But I also just made like a ton of mistakes. I didn't really like rotate well. But let's see.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, so is this like share a screen, or do we just like watch it at the same time?
Yeah, I'll share screen in a sec. But just to
Okay.
clarify, like you added me on Steam, right? In addition to
Oh
into
yeah,
addition
yeah.
to Skype. Okay. Holy
44,
shit.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That was like okay. I've been like I didn't realize that like you were that person. Like you were straight out of Dire until just now when I saw your name. So I've been
Okay.
like trying to message you on Steam, like trying to like set it up because like I just randomly got paid in Dota Coach and then like nobody was responding on Steam. But all right, that is relieving. Okay. Yeah, I'll share my screen in a sec here.
All right.
Okay. So we are tiny. Struggled with rotations, which is fine. It's usually I don't recommend like focusing too much on like rotational plays until like way later, because in most games you can just like do your own thing as carry, and like even if you don't get much farm in lane, you can end up impacting the game a lot.
Silencer.
Rotational plays, like if you can do it properly, then it's great, but really it's not super necessary, at least at this level anyway. All right. So we start with 2 rings of protection. All right, this is pretty weird at the start. Like, uh, it's good because it covers Tiny's weakness of like having 0 base armor, and that's totally fine. But
30 seconds.
I think it's a bit of a mistake because like you're not gonna build any like really big items with this. Like, did you go for Tranquil's Bassi or something?
I think so. And then I just turned the Bassi into like Soul Ring and sold the Ring of Protection.
Okay. So just to clarify, you were farming safe lane in this game, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is a mistake then. Like, normally it's better to just go like Stout Shields and a couple branches or a Mango. Mainly because like in 9 out of 10 games as carry Tiny, you're not going to be building Tranquils or Basilius. The one exception would be if you want to push the tower very early with a hero like Chen on your team, then you would go Bassi, and
Right.
that's totally fine. But since Tiny is like he's so mana dependent, Bassi isn't quite enough. Like it's good to have the extra regen, but it's not going to supply you with enough mana to sustain yourself throughout the game. Whereas a
Mm-hmm.
bottle might with if you get runes, or Soaring does to an extent too, but it's like I don't usually buy it on Tiny.
Okay.
But I definitely recommend like starting Stout Shields and a couple branches or a Mango. Mango is probably higher value.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Okay. So immediately, like, these guys make a mistake of like just starting to push the lane. So this should be good for you. And here you shouldn't, since you don't have anyone else in your lane, like a Silencer isn't here yet, he can't really help you like zone these two out or trade with them at all. Basically, your positioning should be back here, Because like
Oh,
you're,
just like seeping XP or whatever.
yeah, at least until like the wave pushes. Because right now you're not doing anything except taking damage. Because you can't go for these CS at all. Like this creep is not going to die fast because they already killed 2 of your creeps. So like there's no way this is going to get very low. So
Yeah.
basically like you're taking like a very significant amount of damage here, and you're not getting anything in return. Now it would be okay if you were able to get last hits during that time, and trade some of your regen for last hits. That's totally fine. But since you were unable to get any CS, it's not worth it. Okay.
We had like a pretty weird team composition too, because I think our silencer wanted to go, like that shadow blade, whatever, and
Yeah.
then we just had like a bloodseeker, I guess, who wanted to play mid, and we ended up with like 3 kind of ganking heroes.
Hurts. To address what you said, basically like team composition matters to an extent, but in these kind of games it really doesn't matter that much. It's really all about you, because
Yeah.
you can if you play like very well, then you can control the game by yourself
Yeah.
and just win. So I don't know if you're somebody who worries about it a lot, but like definitely
I mean,
do not.
I try to pick for my team, but I also just, I don't really care.
Yeah, that's fine. I think the best approach is to like think about your pick, but if you just want to practice something, then play it.
And then
maybe
I
it's
think
not
this
good.
was worth it. I like tossed the bounty hunter.
It's kind of iffy. I think he would have died a bit earlier. Like if you let's look at the entire gank, because I've been like talking and not really looking. All right. So it starts off with you avalanching the Witch Doctor. Totally fine. That's good stuff. Silencer already used his spell, and so did Bounty, so you can't really kill him faster. I think you should have manned up here, like a few seconds ago. So like,
Because, well, yeah, I guess the slaughter already used his stun,
yep.
so I shouldn't have been worried about,
Oh, look at it go.
like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a big reason. So like this guy is no longer a threat to you. Like he used his stun, so you basically can't die. Also, like he only has 1 stun left, so like he can't beat you guys in a long fight or whatever by getting 2 stuns off. So you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, at this point, if you turned and just kept right-clicking him, like while he was just sitting here, rather than ripping back, you wouldn't have had to go for this this like trade. He would have just died to your right clicks and toss later. Like he'd be dead like around here, rather than having to
Right.
toss bounty in. I think tossing bounty in was completely fine. Like mainly because Slardar didn't get experience. Witch Doctor ends up getting it, which sucks, but yeah, I think that was totally fine.
But then I kind of ended up like, I don't know, I had no mana, so I couldn't TP back to base, and I think I just like
Yeah, no,
wasted
this
a
was a
tango
fine
or
play.
something.
Yeah, you wasted 1 tango, and that's like that is a mistake, but it's really not that big a deal. Obviously, like try to plan your next move, as soon as you can, so you don't have to waste a tango. But it really isn't a big deal. Going to base here was definitely the play. Alternatively, you could have sent yourself out a bottle, but that's a good way to get your mid to hate you. Mainly because like sending a bottle all the way from base to the safe lane, it takes a long time for the walking courier. And like this guy, maybe he won't get his boots
Right.
or his Aquila or whatever. So that's a big deal. So I think going back to base was completely fine. Oh, you definitely do want to start working towards the bottle here though. Like you guys are fighting a lot, so you need mana, you need HP regen, and that's like the most reliable item for Tiny.
Their armor, and I will smash them, Slardar.
Also, one thing I noticed is that whenever you come into lane, you don't really click on your enemies, like to see what items they have. And this is like a really key thing, I think. Like basically you can gather so much information from just clicking on somebody. Like you can gather their mana, you can see this guy doesn't have boots, but he does have a TP. He has tangos, so he can juke. He has a Quelling Blade, so he can juke. He has stick. Like there's so many things that you can gather from this. So you should try to make a habit of like just clicking on heroes as often as you can. And trying to gain information that way.
Their armor, and I will smash them, Slardar.
Okay. Positioning is fine. Oh, that was a waste. Okay.
Catch.
So this would be fine if you had some sort of mana regen. like because you would have gone 2 last hits, would have been great. You would have also harassed them a bit, which is a good way to use your mana. But because you don't have any regen, you just eliminated your lane's possibility of killing any heroes, because you can't cast your combo after this. So that was a mistake.
Okay.
But, looks like it's gonna be fine. You guys might even get a kill here actually, because they took tower damage. What level is Penny? No. Okay, moving on. Okay.
Dire's
I want to watch that once more. Alright, so this fight starts by Slardar doing this thing over here, and during this whole time, your camera doesn't move from your hero. And this is also like a mistake. Yeah, it doesn't end up being bad, but it's like a inefficiency kind of thing.
Yeah, one problem that I've had is that when I started playing Dota, like, I don't know, like a year and a half ago, it's totally new to MOBAs. I chose like the WASD camera. So
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah, I've been using that the entire time. And
well, that's not bad if you have enough hotkeys to, you know, like use items, control groups, all of that kind of, all of those other things. And that's
yeah,
not,
like the reason I haven't changed is because like I just haven't really been playing heroes with, you know, I haven't been playing like Chen or Invoker or anything. It's just not that big of a deal.
Yeah, well, this is tough because like maybe we will never play a game of Chen or Invoker, but control groups matter on other heroes too, like with illusions, necro units. If you don't have control groups, I highly recommend you just like bite the bullet and switch to a keyboard layout where you can use them. They're super important. I don't know how else to say.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there are keyboard layouts that allow you to use the WASD camera, because like theoretically, using your keyboard for your camera is actually like slightly better, because then your mouse doesn't have to do like so many other actions in addition to moving the camera. But yeah, definitely, I would recommend that you try to fit control groups, like as many as you can, into your keyboard layout. I think that will help you in the long run. Alright, let's talk about this fight though. So it starts off by Slardar doing this thing, and this was the camera thing we talked about. Your camera doesn't really move from your hero, which is a problem. But you're not limited by your keyboard layout in this sense, so that's fine. Here, I think you got a stun opportunity on 3 heroes that you could have taken. Like right here. Okay. If you walked up a little bit and stunned, you might have gotten at least a Tuscan Witch Doctor for sure. And maybe Slardar if he positions incorrectly. Oh, fuck, I went back. Alright. So I think your approach to this fight was a little bit off. You got a little bit too tunnel visioned on the Slardar.
Yeah. I had no way of like catching him because well, I guess I had boots, but still.
Well, he has sprint, so like he wins basically.
Yeah.
Just guaranteed. Also, like you only have 1 spell, so you can't kill him unless you get 1 spell plus right click. But that's pretty tricky with that distance he had. Other than that, I think it was fine. Your stun placement could have been a little better, but that's useless to tell you pretty much. Like, oh, you should hit better stuns.
Yeah.
All right. So you buy Tranquils. All right. I think this is like, it's okay if you're on an offlane tiny or maybe even mid tiny, but they don't do much for you. Like you really need mana regen. You really need like attack speed on this hero. They're just not high value enough to warrant the purchase. I won't harp on that too much, but yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay, moving on. You guys can kill Witch Doctor pretty easily. Okay. Yeah, he was dead a couple times here actually. Basically, like if you avalanche right now, he just dies 100%. The only way they can live is if Tusk is out of range of the avalanche and he snowball saves Witch Doctor. In which case, like that's fine to go for a play like this, like where you just rely on Tusk making a mistake, because like this Tusk has to have the foresight to be ready and be in position to snowball. So like
Yeah.
he has to make like a few really good decisions in order for it to be even possible, and then he has to mechanically execute as well. So it's fine to go for a play like that. But yeah, Witch Doctor should have died there. Okay, he did die. Great. Last word, good spell. Okay. So basically now you're at the point where like you're at full mana, so you should try to be going for a kill. Your hero is just really good at killing shit if you have good levels, and you know you have decent levels. Now ideally you want to be higher level than this, but you can't really do much if your support stays in lane. Yeah, especially now that you have a Soul Ring, you should be going for plenty of kills. You also have a number of ways to approach a kill too, like on this hero. If you have the opportunity to, Avalanche toss is the best usually, but you can also Avalanche and then, or Avalanche from distance and then toss them back to the creep wave. So like right here. Yeah.
Yeah, you can even, I mean, you can toss to allied heroes too.
Yeah. That's like
so.
the best way to do it usually. But yeah, you could Avalanche, you know, this Witch Doctor that just walked up and then toss him back to your Silencer. And like he's just basically automatically dead. Like he has no counterplay at that point, except maybe to TP, but you have to have like really good foresight to do that.
Yeah, so one other, like right now, the wave is in like a terrible spot for us, especially like if we wanted to get a kill.
Right.
And the Silencer, like, I mean, I can't really expect him to pull because it's 2k MMR, but like, is there anything that I could be doing besides just like kind of hitting my creeps down?
Yeah, you could go pull.
So
okay, it's totally fine.
Okay.
I mean, like, think of it this way. Okay, so right here, let's say you're gonna give up like, you'll need about 20 seconds total to like run over here, or run over here, pull the wave at 13 seconds or so, and then run back. And you'll probably have to connect too, since it's not stacked. So you'll be wasting a lot of time, but at the same time, like, you're trading CS, you're also denying the opponent CS, and you're also giving yourself an opportunity to get a kill later. So think of it as an investment. It's better to do if you have a plan. Like, even if that plan is just, I want to pull the wave back so I can be safer. That's totally fine. That's a fine plan. But yeah, no, pulling the wave is completely fine. If your support isn't doing it, then it becomes your job to do it. Like,
also,
even
like in a lane like this, where I'm having like a bit of trouble last hitting just because of like all the harass, is it worth it to just go into the jungle when the wave is pushed up like that and just like stack it?
Depends. Usually it's better to just get experience.
To just experience,
yeah. But it can be a little weird because like if your hero is really good at killing stacks, then it can be better to do the stacking. Like, but it's also better to get solo experience. Like, basically it relies on what your support is doing. If your support is sitting in lane and leeching XP with you, then it's probably better to go stack and like just go do a jungle camp or something. But if you're getting solo experience and he's like off pulling or doing his job and stacking, then that's totally fine. Then you can just stay in lane.
Yeah, I mean, our Silencer has just been like solo killing these people pretty much.
Yeah, he's doing totally fine. I mean,
I can't complain about the Silencer at all.
He's made like some
3 goals already.
macro mistakes, but I mean, he's rich, so it doesn't matter. He also stole a lot of int. That's the beauty of this hero. So you don't have to be good. Okay, so you stack and pull here. This is great. This is exactly what you want to do. It's a little bit off here. Oh, okay, you stack in. That's totally fine too. That's completely fine. Oh no, that's not fine. All right, not fine.
I actually
not
forgot
fine.
that happened.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. So this went from like being good to not fine to super not fine.
Yeah.
Basically, it would have been fine to pull here, because you would get yourself experience, but like you don't have to.
I also wouldn't have tanked the creeps.
Yeah.
Like I did.
Yeah. Whereas you would get the same amount of gold.
Yeah.
Basically, if you want to pull, you want to make sure that your wave is going to be in a good position. So it's not the best to pull here, but it would have been okay if you just instantly kill a creep wave, because that won't cause like the enemy wave to push into your tower that much. Yeah, there's not much to say other than that. Like, going for the stack was totally fine. You just got to be careful. Really know your limits of your hero, like how much damage you can do.
Right, and I should have just backed off right there once I
Yeah.
realized.
Yeah, it would have been fine to just get a few creeps and then run away. Like, it sucks that you can't get them all, but it's better than, you know, losing 150 gold or whatever it was. Okay, so you went Bracer after your Tranquil Soul Ring. I think this is it's an okay choice. I like Bracer on Tiny because he benefits from like the tiny amount of mana, and like obviously Strength is good on him. Benefits from the damage and the agility. It's a good item. I would have liked to see you go something like Brown Boots, Bottle into Bracer and Wand, especially if you plan on going for a Blink build-up. But it looks like you're running Trumps here. So basically the strength of that build is that it's like very low cost, and it gives you a lot of stats, and it doesn't delay your Blink too much. So you're not going to die to nukes that easily, and you're also going to have mana to do like a few spells. Basically, with Tranquils, you invest in a lot of move speed and regen, and also a little bit of armor, but it's like a minuscule amount. And with Soul Ring, you invest in basically all mana, and like the mana regen is good too, or the HP regen is good too, but it's not that great.
And then this DD Tusk. That's a great global silence, I have to say.
Yeah, that was really good.
DD Tusk, pretty much.
Okay.
I don't know if that was worth taking all that harass just for one last hit.
It was not, but yeah. That's not the biggest mistake you made. I think here, like, when Tusk goes on you like this, you have a couple options. If Silencer gets a global off, then you can just toss Tusk back to Witch Doctor. Like you can distance yourself a little bit. Like right here, you could toss him back, and maybe it looks like you might have even tried. Oh no, you didn't. Okay, well, yeah. You tried to nuke Tusk, which is fine, but just that little bit of distance, tossing Tusk to Witch Doctor would have been completely fine, and that probably would have saved your life. I don't know if you end up dying here, but okay, nice. No, you didn't die. So I mean, it worked out fine, but that was a small thing you could have done better. All right. So here, I mean, I guess the Tranquil Boots are going to pay off. If you do buy Tranquil Boots for whatever reason, I don't recommend you do anymore, but if you do have them, then you want to drop them before you go for last hits. If, and only if, there are not anyone, or there is no one in your lane, and there's no, like, invis heroes.
Yeah, who can just, like, sneak up and deny them.
Yeah, because that's a great way to lose, you know, 1k net worth. And that's not a good thing to happen, obviously.
Yeah, it's game losing.
Yeah.
But it does kind of seem like I could have just gone, like, Bottle instead of Tranquil Boots and Soul Ring,
right?
Which would have been cheaper, and it would have, you know, like allowed me to go, what, like Power Treads or something?
Yeah, Treads, or get a faster Blink, so you can like kill these really squishy heroes. Like basically, in my opinion, the strength of Tiny, or here, let me rephrase. Tiny has like 2 power curves, like 2 points in the game where he's super strong, like probably the strongest hero on the map, and that's like, as soon as he gets his Blink, he's also level 9, so he has one level of Grow, and then both of his spells maxed. So you can basically just Blink on any hero with less than 1,000 HP and kill them.
Right.
And that's super strong. And he's also really strong at around like 30 minutes after he's snowballed and gotten an Ags and like gotten a tower, or 2 or 3 or whatever. So he has 2 points. So you basically like, I forget what started this rant here, but basically like when you buy these items, like Tranquil Boots, Soul Ring, and Bracer and everything like that, you're delaying your Blink a lot, so you're delaying your first big power spike. Whereas if you just go Bottle and like maybe Bracer Wand rather than Tranquil Soul Ring and all these things, I don't want to say you're like making yourself stronger faster, but like that's kind of what you're doing, depending on like how the game's going.
I don't know, I'm just standing there, actually.
Oh, you just see it? Okay. That is unfortunate. Disconnecting is not a good play. I don't recommend doing this. Alright.
Computer has been a little bit weird recently. It might have just been a crash or something.
Mm-hmm. That happens. Not the end of the world, you don't miss too much. Okay.
Oh yeah, the Witch Doctor got off a huge ult here.
Mm-hmm.
But
okay. So your combo is a little bit slow. You should wait until you're like a little bit closer to Avalanche, so you can get the instant toss. It's like super minuscule, but it does matter a little bit.
Don't think ill of me.
It doesn't end up, you know, affecting anything here, so that's fine.
I think here I think I tried to take out the stack, and I think I then realized that I was not strong enough. But
Oh, you're fine. I mean, it's gonna take you a couple casts, but it's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It looks like you're saving your money to go for a blink after getting drum components,
Radiant's top tower
which is
under attack.
a bit weird to me.
maybe I'm just not buying the last component for some reason.
Yeah, and that's like
I don't think I would do
Radiant's
that.
top tower is under attack.
it looks like that's what you're gonna do. Okay, that's right. I mean, that's not super bad. Normally what people do is they'll buy the bracer first, like before they go blink. Like a just bracer wand, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
And then they'll complete drums after that, if it's a good drum game. Like if they want the stats or the move speed or whatever. But yeah. I don't recommend going drums before blink. That being said, I'm not like a professional tiny player or anything, so. But definitely recommend going blink as fast as you can. After like.
Oh, so like in a situation like this,
Middle tower
where I
is under
have a
attack.
soul ring, is it worth it to like pop the soul ring, lose health, and then, you know, like turn around and use toss or something?
Well, it depends.
Or would,
Basically.
because like right there, I survived with 300 HP, but I just felt like too scared to kind of make a play.
It depends like entirely on the situation. Like this is a super broad question, but long story short is if you're going to
Radiant's
live
middle tower
without
is
using
under
Soul Ring,
attack.
then no, it's not worth it. And if you're not going to live, then it's worth it. So like if you're gonna die anyway, or you're positive you're gonna die anyway, then it's worth it to use Soul Ring and get a spell off, because maybe that's setting up a kill for your team or something. So like let's say your HP is a bit lower, and you know TA is chasing you here.
Radiant's middle
I
tower
can't
is
move the
under
camera
attack.
for whatever reason. There we go. Alright, so let's say TA decides to chase you here, and like you're really low. You could Soul Ring and turn around and stun her and like just commit to your death and get a kill for your team that way. And that would be totally fine. But basically, if you're going to live, then no, it's not worth it. If you're not going to live, then yes. That's
Right.
the really basic answer.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Okay, stuff going on. Okay, that was incorrect.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Back to special appointment. The last.
I don't know why they all stayed, but you know, these things happen in 2K.
That's okay. There's a lot of stuff we can talk about there, though. Alright, so number one, I think, even though this turns out, like, or this turns into you getting a triple kill, I think this TP is, like, slightly off. Like, basically all the information you have here points to this being a bad fight. Like, before you're even full HP, Bloodseeker is, like, basically dying. Like, all he needs to do is get stunned. So, by the time you TP in, he's already dead. And you cannot kill these 3 heroes by yourself if they're not, like, you know, diving under your tower or whatever. It's impossible at this point in the game. Your spells and right clicks will not do enough damage before they kill you.
I thought that I could have just taken out the Witch Doctor there by just doing like my combo, but it didn't work out because I just didn't really get close enough, I guess.
Yeah, you messed up the combo a little bit. But okay, so starting off, like, the concept of going for this play was incorrect. But we could talk about the execution a little bit too, because it matters.
So, are you saying that it would have been better to TP to like the tier 1 and farm, or?
I would say go mid or bottom in this case.
Okay.
Bottom would have been fine. Okay, so basically since they committed so many heroes up here, it would have been totally fine to go bottom with Nyx and try to kill Juggernaut. Because, like, you know that their team cannot possibly be there without TPing or whatever. So you guys have a window to kill this guy.
Radiant's bottom
Like,
tower
Nyx
is
can
under
lead with
attack.
Vendetta into stun. And it's a pretty good kill. Or alternatively, you could toss him into stun. You also have that. But, yeah, let's go on to execution now. Okay, so it didn't work out because, like, you did this weird click here. I'm gonna try to slow down and get the exact one. Okay. Oh, see our shards up path you. Okay, yeah, that's whatever. This wasn't so bad, but normally you want to wait to avalanche before you, or you want to wait to avalanche when you're also really close to being in toss range. That's why blink is so good, because you can blink on top of somebody where you're in toss range, so you get the full damage from avalanche. Like, you know how those two skills work together,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's good. That's important. Yeah, so ideally, before you have blink, you want to make sure that you're also in toss range when you avalanche. Now, it was a little weird in this case because he was death warding, and you needed to interrupt that. But, yeah. You would have avoided the situation where, like, you tossed a Tusk instead of him.
Oh,
If you had
I didn't
waited a
even
little bit.
realize that the Bloodseeker bought back, but it looks like he TP'd to the wrong tower.
Radiant's bottom tower is
Okay.
under attack.
I mean, that happens. Standard 2K play. Also, there was something here that I missed. Okay, yeah, right here. So you choose to toss the Sardar in this case, and that's fine. Yeah, Sardar is the only one you can toss, but you should have tossed him to Witch Doctor.
Yeah,
That's like
yeah.
that's a double play. Like, you just went for like 1 out when you could have gone for 2, basically. Now he ends up dying anyway because he's really dumb, but either way. But yeah, at this point you have so much gold that you should carry the game 100%. Like in this case,
Right.
like you're set up for a fantastic
Dire's
game.
middle tower is
That's
under
what I was
attack.
thinking at the time too, but it didn't really work out. Just because I think I made a ton of mistakes with my blink dagger here.
Yeah, I mean that's totally possible. I mean, I'm not saying like it's bad to mess up or whatever and lose the game. Like, obviously it's bad to mess up, but you know what I mean. Like you don't have to
Yeah,
worry about it
right.
so much as long as you learn.
Also, I think I just wasn't using Soul Ring or something for some reason. It's like
yeah,
just bad to have bought that and not use it.
yeah, that is certainly true. It's not like a passive stat
Dire's
item where
middle
you're
tower
benefiting
is
from it.
under attack.
It's basically purely inactive. Also, I can see part of the reason you didn't do well at the end of this game was you went for like super early game oriented items, and you probably didn't end up farming that much. Like I can see you going for a lot of kills or something like that, and your items are not good at farming and coming back, so it's really hard for you to effectively scale. Whereas if you had like, you know, treads and a wand or something, you would be slightly better at farming, and that would, you know, exponentially increase your gold. Okay.
I don't know why I'm not reacting to that.
Yeah. I don't think you had vision. Hold on.
My fate.
Okay.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So you saw a TA and Tusk just disappear from the fog here, or disappear from top lane rather. Like you have full vision of them here on the map,
Dire's middle tower
and right here
is
they
under
disappear.
attack.
Immediately this should signal like, okay, I basically should not be on this side of the map at this point. Like I should just go do these camps, go mid, push this out.
True.
There's no reason for you to farm this. Like
True.
the small camp is not a high enough reward to warrant that.
Especially because we have a ward, like telling me, you know, whether or not they went back
Right,
through
right.
the, you know, river
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So alternatively, you could have gone mid here. I think going mid was like the best option out of all of these, or also going to do the neutrals would have been okay too. But definitely pushing out this wave would have been the best play, because that would also create some pressure on the enemy team. Like they would have to deal with this tower suddenly being pushed, and you know, maybe somebody TPs, something like that. But
Yeah.
instead you die, so that sucks. It really sucks to die as soon as you get your blink, because like not only does the enemy know now that you have blink, but also like
Dire's middle tower
you invested
is
so
under
much in this
attack.
item that is supposed to get you kills, and now it's not, which, you know, obviously it sucks. But it's not the end of the world. You still have the potential to one-shot like 4 heroes on the enemy team, so totally fine.
Dire's top tower.
Tiny's a good
Well-
comeback hero.
Tower is under attack.
Sort of depends if what's his name, Juggernaut can get his spin off in time.
Yeah, that's true.
If TA has refraction up.
Yeah, it's really hard to do that though. Like against Juggernaut specifically, the combo changes from Avalanche Toss to Toss Avalanche. That's mainly because Toss has like a ridiculously low cast point. I think it might be 0. I can look it up afterward, but It's super
Dire's top
fast.
tower is under attack.
So if you blink toss
Oh,
avalanche,
so there's
it's
no
like
way that they can react. Yeah.
yeah, it's super hard. He has to like foresee you coming rather than you know, just react to avalanche, which
Okay.
has like a 1 second duration. Yeah, 1 second stun duration. So it's easier for him to react to that. But yeah, you should definitely be able to one shot this hero, no problem. At this
Dire's
point in the
middle
game,
tower is under attack.
I would say that's your main goal at this point. Like if you were to
Dire's
devise a
middle
game plan,
tower
it would be to
has
get your
fallen.
blink dagger and try to kill Juggernaut as many times as you can. Because he's like the most important hero on that team that you can also one shot.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you said earlier, it's much harder to one-shot TA if she doesn't have or if she has her fraction up. Okay, so moving on. Kill Witch Doctor, great. Get Omni slashed, that sucks. I can talk about positioning here. I don't think you had any vision of Juggernaut. Oh no, you did. Okay. So like going for the kill here was fine, but I think in this case it actually would have been better to run into TA and Tusk rather than go for a Juggernaut or go up this way.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not sure if you were even aware that Jug was here, because like the only way you would have been able to know was while you were blinking on Witch Doctor, you also see him on the map. So it's a hard decision to make, and you need to be like really good at gathering information. But if you did see him, then the correct play was to run up, because your teammates can also assist you at this point. Whereas if you go this way, they cannot, just because of that's how spells work. They get limited ranges.
Yeah.
Brought a rock to a sword fight.
But either way, it's still not the end of the world. Like you could still one-shot their really important heroes. Okay, Jug just randomly spins. Great. That sucks.
Dire's middle tower
Okay,
is
so
under
I like what
attack.
you just did here. It's like, it's kind of simple, but it's really important. You look at Jug and see what he has in his inventory. Like I saw you clicked on him. And
Right.
also you can, when you watch this, you can infer like where he's going. So like you basically know that he's probably doing this camp. So maybe you could TP mid to the T2 and like try to predict if he's
Oh.
going to you know, go farm like this camp as well. And maybe you
Yeah.
can smoke from this way to the, you know, here. But the main thing is you were gathering this information, which was really good, and that's super important. I can't stress that enough. Like especially while you're dead, when you have nothing else to like look at, it's really important that you're trying to plan your next move. And the easiest way to do that is by looking at heroes and where they're moving, or where you think they're moving.
I actually just lost a game recently. When I was playing Spectre, I had my Scotty on the courier. Or, well, I was trying to buy my Scotty at the secret shop. And I was like, alright, OD, who is dead, can you just, like, make sure this courier gets to the secret shop?
Dire's
And
bottom tower
it
is
did
under
not.
attack.
And it just kind of won after that. It's pretty sad.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, it happens.
Radiant's top tower
because
is
I feel
under
like a lot of
attack.
people when they die, they just alt-tab.
Yeah, they probably do. But I mean, you're still playing the game, so there's no point. At the same time, though, it's not someone else's job to micro the courier for your items. Like, it is in like competitive, like super high level play, but we're not there. So like, we can just do that ourselves.
Dire's bottom
most
tower
cases.
is under attack.
But yeah, definitely don't rely on teammates to micro the courier or whatever. Like that's not a good
Radiant's
idea.
middle tower is under attack.
Okay, this guy is super dead. Oh, you have no mana actually. All right.
Radiant's middle tower.
All right. I used Avalanche to push. Okay, so that's normally fine, but because you're so low on mana, it's not fine. Like, unless you plan on
Oh.
going back to base here,
Radiant's middle
then
tower
it's not
is
good.
under attack.
Now, if your play was to just push this and go back to base, it's totally okay. It's a good thing to do, because you're like exhausting your mana before you go back and regen. But since you wanted to go
Yeah.
bottom here, then it becomes like not a good play. So you're setting yourself up for, you know, not getting a kill.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I think it would have been a totally fine decision to just push this and go back to base earlier. And maybe you can TP in here, you know, when they're committing harder or something like that. And you also have HP and mana to work with. And again, they're just diving, so you get kills. Great. Okay. Unbelievable. All right. Well, it's good that you're getting these kills. They're gimmies. So. All right.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So we're just farming, doing tiny things. Ideally, you go back to base after this camp. Okay, keep farming. This is like mega
Radiant's
greedy.
bottom tower
Basically,
is
like,
under attack.
okay, so right here, you know TA is dead for 15 more seconds, so they can't really do much, you know, while she's dead, or they don't want to do much because you guys have numbers on them. So right now, like, you should be thinking, okay, so TA is going to spawn pretty soon. That means the enemy team might try to do something. And I'm tiny, I'm super good at fighting, I'm super strong, I can one-shot heroes, so I want to be ready for them to fight. Or I want to be ready to fight them. And right now you're not at all. Like, you don't have a TP, and you also don't have mana to use one to begin with. So going back to base and buying a TP scroll rather than your Ring of Protection would have been the play here. And that just would make you ready for any fight that happens, you know, outside of your T1s. This is actually, it's especially important because you still have 2 T1s up.
Radiant's
Like,
bottom
these are...
tower is under attack.
These towers are basically like here for TPs to fights. Like when these are up, any fight that happens in this, you know, like giant circle, or this giant circle here, connecting to their T1, it basically like allows you to be there really fast when you need to, especially when you have a blink. So.
Just what
Dire's top tower.
Okay.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
So you do go back to base in the end. It's good.
got it.
I don't know why.
No, this is
well,
fine. This is fine.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not fine anymore.
I was surprised that doesn't Avalanche do damage in
Radiant's
ticks?
bottom tower
Yeah, it does.
is under attack.
Like,
I believe it does 5 instances of damage.
which is exactly enough to take off refraction?
No, it's 1 less.
Okay, well,
So
I'd say that that's still a pretty good counter to TA.
yeah, it's not bad for sure.
Radiant's
I mean,
bottom
ideally,
tower is under
you catch
attack.
her without refraction, but still. But
Yeah.
there was something you did incorrectly here. So right now you need to be watching where Bloodseeker is when you go for this, or like any hero within your range, because you could have avalanched and then tossed her back to your teammates, or you know, tossed her on bounty. Like let's look at Toss's range. Okay, so you probably wouldn't have gotten her on Bloodseeker. He would have been just out of range, but you could have chosen to throw her on Bounty Hunter, which would have been pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah.
So let's go. Yeah, I definitely could have tossed her onto Bounty. The downside of this is she would be slightly closer to Tusk, but yeah. Basically, you guys would be able to break through refraction charges, do a lot of damage to her. Oh, actually, okay. So yeah,
Radiant's
because
bottom tower
you
is
have
under
global
attack.
on your team, tossing her to Bounty was definitely the play, because Tusk cannot save her at that point,
Oh.
and you guys can just blow her up. Okay. Oh, I should have gone for that. Alright. Okay,
Radiant's
so
bottom
TA
tower
dies.
is under attack.
You take a lot of HP in Omni. At this point when Jug spins, you should know that, like, okay, this guy's dead, 100%. With the exception of, like, him getting Snowball saved or whatever. But he just used Snowball earlier to help TA, so you know that's down. Right here, you definitely should have blinked across and stun these two. That would set up 2 kills for your team, maybe even 3 if Witch Doctor overcommits. So that was a misplay on your part. And it was also a pretty low risk, because, like, Tusk doesn't have cooldowns, and you know Jug doesn't have Omni as well. And you also know he doesn't have Spin. So...
Yeah.
Okay. Miss the avalanche. It's whatever. You also had, when you have blink on Tiny, you also have the option to blink and then toss back to your team. It's actually really hard. Like it's hard to move your camera in such a way that like you're starting with your camera on your hero, and then you have to move your camera to where you want to blink, and you have to be moving your camera like while you cast toss so that you can target somebody way far back. So it's pretty tough, but that's something you can do.
Yeah.
Okay. I do want to speed through the...
attack.
Oh, that sucks. Okay. So you messed up your combo a little bit here. Your blink positioning was bad, so that you tossed your Bloodseeker rather than the Tusk. So you should have blinked like slightly lower. Okay, let's go.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Okay, so Tusk goes in. Immediately, your play should be to blink right here on my cursor and
Yes,
Avalanche Toss. Yeah. And that would have resulted in a faster kill. You guys take less damage, you don't get punched,
Dire's
etc.
top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Okay, so your immediate reaction is go push top.
Has
Perfect.
fallen. Dire's bottom tower
That's the
is
play
under
here. It's
attack.
good. Then you go bottom. This is fine too, but it's a little risky. You have to know that you need to back here. Basically because like Sardar and TA are off the map, and Tusk as well. Okay, that was a little risky. But it's fine. You're gonna get your eggs. Now, here's where you're gonna start running into like big problems with your build, is you have an Axe, which gives you great right-click damage, but you don't have the attack speed to support it. So you're buying all this extra damage within in the Aghanim's, but you don't actually have the attack speed to like, you know, effectively hit people. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
yeah.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Okay.
So like skipping drums and going for I don't know, faster, what, like AC or something?
Oh, no. Just getting treads. Treads would be completely fine, rather than
yeah.
triples. Yeah,
Okay.
not that. No. Okay.
Sorry,
No, it's fine.
misunderstood.
Yeah, it's completely fine. I was wondering because it seemed like you were, you know, a little bit confused or like you didn't quite get what I was saying. But okay. So some people do go Shadowblade after Blink, but that's like they really understand what Shadowblade does, and that's not like it makes you go invisible. Really, what Shadowblade does is it gives you attack speed and it lets you dodge wards. That's like the big thing. So you can, you know, dodge wards and then go Blink from a place where they don't expect it. But I wouldn't worry about that. Just going Blink after treads and, you know, like Wand is totally fine. Treads will give you enough attack speed for your Aghanims, and you'll farm really fast with it. Okay, so you guys go to Roche. This is pretty fine.
Roshan
Okay.
has fallen to the Dire.
What's going on here? Or were you waiting for Soul Ring? Alright. This is like...
Was I?
I think so, yeah. I mean, that's what it looks like. I don't know what else you could have been doing here.
I don't know. I think I was just watching.
Okay.
Just wasn't
Yeah.
multitasking.
Generally, this is a small thing, but it helps. Just when you go for like plays like this where you just want to farm creeps, just A-click on the camp by default, and that way
Okay.
you can multitask at the same time without worrying about what your hero is doing. Okay, so that's fine. Just farming. This is the point in the game where you guys basically should win. You have Aegis, you can push their towers very easily. They're not very strong. And your Silencer has like 1,000,000 ints that he stole. Yeah, he's 32 int. That's just gone from the enemy team. I think it's getting to the point where like talking about this game is like slightly inefficient.
Radiant's
So we
top
should
tower is under
either go
attack.
back and review this stuff, or like just ask general
Right.
questions.
Radiant structures
yeah.
are
Whatever you want, basically.
See how much time do we have left? Okay, 10 minutes.
Yep, we can go a little bit over. Too,
Yeah, I
but
mean the
don't
rest
rush.
of the game isn't like super. I just remember that the Bloodseeker got like a rampage full of KSs. That was like the highlight of the game, but it ends, I think, pretty soon. So it's not. Yeah, whatever. Let's see. Maybe we could watch like just a super quick like landing stage or something.
Yeah, sure, that's fine. Okay.
I've been like spamming Spectre pretty much. Not the most fun hero to play,
Radiant's
but
bottom tower is under Radiant's
let's
bottom
see.
tower has fallen.
Winning is fun.
It's true.
Yeah, I understand. Spec's like a pretty good hero to learn on.
Or maybe we could just talk about like my build on Spectre, because that's
Oh, sure.
that's
Yeah,
been
that's fine.
something that. Okay, this is a. Should I pick a game that we lost or?
It doesn't matter. Just any game will do
Okay,
just
this
fine.
game's fine.
Okay. So, we're Spectre. Oh, holy shit. Alright. I want to see what your build order was, because that matters quite a bit.
Yeah, so
I'll check it
I
out.
could just like go over that really quickly, and it's pretty much what I do every game. I go. Okay, so I start out with like it sort of depends on how hard their offlane is, but a combination of like a ton of regen, and I go for like a fast quelling blade and maybe like a poor man's, and then I go phase boots into drums into Yasha. Then I just like get radiance after that. Oh, actually, sorry, forgot one thing. Before I get my drums, I normally get like just I don't know how to, just like a casual morbid mask, just that I have like
Okay.
a bit of lifesteal so that I can just like get neutral camps without having to go back to base all the time. And I've seen people get Urn, but I don't know. It just seems really odd to me on Spectre.
Okay.
So-
So, here's a couple of things. First, I'll talk about the Urn, because that's like the one we just talked about. Basically, the point of Spectre is not to farm and out farm the opponents. It's to fight as early as you can, like as soon as you get honked, and like beat the enemy that way. Because you can be farming this lane, and then all of a sudden you can be anywhere on the map that a fight starts. Whereas if
Right.
somebody is laning against you here, they can't be there
Right.
without TPing and committing a TP scroll or
Yeah,
whatever.
people have
So
been
that's why
saying
Urn
that
is good.
Spectre is like an awful early game hero, but
It's not
like
true.
I'd say that right at 6, you're pretty much a huge threat. Just because you can
You're
TP anywhere on the map and get like a quick kill.
I'd say like a huge threat is a bit of an overstatement, but she is a threat. Like she's something that the enemy has to worry about for sure.
Well,
That's
it's
definitely
not
how you
so
should
much
think of it.
like Haunt wins fights like right at 6. It's just like it gets you so much gold if you just get like a double kill or something with a Haunt,
Oh
which is
yeah,
like pretty easy to do.
I mean the strength of it just lies in her being able to go anywhere she wants, whereas other heroes cannot do that. That's
Yeah.
like the real strength of it. Like having an extra hero at a fight is usually really valuable, depending on how the fight's going, obviously. But Urn is good because you fight so early, and Urn allows you to regen and farm jungle camps, or just sustain after a fight or whatever. And it also allows you to go for more aggressive kills. Like you actually do a lot of damage with just phase boots, drums, and Urn. You can chase down a lot of these heroes. Like this game isn't the best example for it. Like you can kill Phoenix if she doesn't have Icarus dive up, or you can kill Broodmother if you have Dust or some kind of detection on her. But other than that, it's not very good. In fact, in this game, I don't think I would have gone for phase drums Urn or whatever. I think just going phase Urn into like Wand and Radiance would have been completely fine. Radiance is higher value in this game. Basically, like so the popular Spectre build right now is phase drums Urn into Manta, and then
Yeah.
like afterwards you get Diffusal Blade, Radiance, whatever.
Yeah, I've
And
seen that.
that build is really good in specific games where the enemy team has really weak supports. Like just give you a couple examples. Like Ancient Apparition, you can just dagger him and run at him, and he has to TP away or he dies instantly. Same thing with CM. Same thing with Dazzle. Same thing with not Disruptor, Coddle. Similar with Coddle, although it's a little harder. Lich, Zeus, Witch Doctor. All of these heroes just like completely fold when a Spectre with phase
Right.
boots and drums runs at them.
Yeah.
So that's
It's
the strength of
It's
that
also
build.
it's so easy to close the gap with like dagger and stuff.
Right. So that's the strength of that build, and that's fine. But in this game, there aren't too many heroes that you can actually just run at. Like you're not going to run at a Doom. Yeah, in most cases, you're not going to run at a Spirit Breaker in most cases. Viper, definitely not. Absolutely not. Broodmother and Phoenix, we already went over that you have like specific windows where you can. But
Yeah.
I'd say Radiance in this game is higher value because you can't just, run at them and kill them.
So wait, would you go like treads, earn radiance, or just?
I like Phase, but Treads is fine. Treads are fine too. Like,
Okay.
it depends on what you think is good for that game. In this specific game, I think I would go Treads because you can't really just, run at people and chase them down or whatever. Yeah, I think Treads would be totally fine.
I did realize earlier today that I really, really need to practice tread or get into the habit of tread switching.
Yes.
Because I noticed under like the items section on Dota Buff that my tread win rate is like 45, and my phase tranquil arcane it's like mid to low 50s. So
Yeah.
even though I buy treads most often, I would
Yeah,
say.
I mean, that makes sense. Like, you're not getting the full value out of the item. So, yeah, that's definitely, like, I can't recommend that enough. Don't go too ham on it. Like, I think focusing on other things is fine. But, whenever you can think about it, it's good to get into the habit of doing it, for sure. Okay, so what else? What were your other questions about builds? Like, we talked about the... Oh, yeah, Morbid Mask. I think this is actually okay, but I can't give you a for sure answer. I think I'd prefer just going Earn if you're going to fight. Or also, Ring of Health is okay as well. And you can either keep that a casual Ring of Health, or if they have a lot of right-clickers, you can build a Vanguard, and that's fine too. Also, what Mason does, who's like a North American professional player or whatever, he saves Ring of Health and builds a Refresher later. I've seen him do that a couple times. It's actually pretty good, but you don't have to worry about that so much.
Double hunt would be pretty scary, I have to say.
Yeah, well,
Especially
not
if
if
that,
you
like,
rush it,
diffusal
but
or something. Oh, well, like back to
Yeah.
what? Yeah.
yeah, no. After you have like Radiance Manta or whatever, it's really good, but it's definitely like a super late game item.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Radiant's
you should have
middle
bought boots
tower
here
is
for
un-
sure. Like Spectre benefits a lot from the movement speed. Actually, you also could have skipped the Quelling Blade at the start and gone for a Ring of Health here. Because like this lane you've already taken a lot of damage. Actually, here, let's just restart the laning phase and we can just watch it and like talk about it. Because like me giving you advice without watching it isn't super good. So I'll watch it like sped up a little bit.
So my Necro gets into this weird engagement, and I don't think he does, but I think I come out ahead because I just get like an easy first blood. But soon thereafter, pretty much the same engagement goes down, and I just end up taking like 80% of my health.
Yeah,
And we don't get much out of it.
you're like really pussing out here. Okay, so when they go in Necro here, this is actually like really good for you guys because they can't kill him no matter what. Spearbreaker cannot possibly bash him because he's level 1, so he can't just get like bash locked. They just don't have the damage. Also, one thing to note is Phoenix's spell at level 1 only does 40 damage. Like you'll see it's 10 damage per
Really?
second. Yeah, see you can see the duration right here.
Yeah.
It's 10 DPS with a 4-second duration, so it's 40 damage. So this guy does nothing. And when he uses his gap closer like this, like his Icarus dive, this is instantly a kill. Like as soon as he casts that spell, he's dead if you just go on him. Like he has no counterplay. You just need the dagger and right click him and he dies.
Yeah.
So you should have been fighting a little bit earlier here.
It's sort of like the same story in the tiny game, actually. I just like didn't recognize when I could have gone in.
Yeah, and like if we looked at other replays, we'll probably find similar things because players just tend to have similar habits that carry over through games. And this one is like especially important because it's a really fundamental skill, like understanding when your opponents are vulnerable and when you are strong, and when you're able to like just kill them. Like it's insanely high value, and that's something that like if you are a master at that, then you will be one of the best Dota players in the world, like guaranteed. That's like, it's super hard to do, but it's super important. Okay. So this was just him being out of position, I think. Basically, before you guys could, you know, fight them because
They use other spells.
yeah, they use their spells, and you also had mana to cast your spells. But here you don't even have mana for a dagger, so it's not good. But here, instead of going for Clawing Blade, I think I would have gone for Ring of Health. Mainly
Okay.
because you already know these guys are going to be aggressive as fuck, and they just want to kill you. So you want some kind of like buffer HP regen. Also, a good habit to get into is when you lose like 100 HP or so, especially in these aggressive lanes where like, you know, you're just fighting with people, you want to just tango early. I don't know if this is a bug or something, because I see the tango bug, but you have 8 tangos, which is weird. But I didn't actually see you use the tango, so either way, I'm just gonna say it. Like, you want to make sure you're as close to full HP as possible, especially when you're against kill lanes, like heroes that just want to fight you.
Is that just so that if they do go on you, there's... Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's they have a smaller chance of killing you.
Yeah, okay.
Also, you have a better chance of being aggressive because, like, if you're, you know, 400 HP instead of 500 HP, maybe they can turn on you when you go to make an aggressive play. Whereas if you had that extra 100 HP, you would know that, you know, you can kill them before they kill you.
Okay.
So that's another thing. Okay. So I think we should start wrapping things up. Like,
Okay.
if you have
I
any,
mean,
like,
that's kind of like all I...
okay.
The rest of the game with Spectre is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, you just haunt things.
Yeah.
Farm. So if you have any like general overarching questions, now's the time to ask them. If not, we can like wrap things up and like give you some things to improve on and like focus on for your next few games.
Yeah, I mean... Wait, do I die here? Okay. Yeah, I don't really have any like really general questions. One thing that I was kind of curious about is like, so if you kind of see that like, I don't know, 2 of their cores are dead or whatever, is it just a good idea to go Roche, or is that just not always?
I mean, I don't want to give you a cop-out answer, but it's way too general for me to like give you a solid answer on, because like so many different things matter in this situation.
It just seems like in professional games I've watched, teams just migrate over to the Roche pit like as soon as kind of they do enough damage and, you know, they feel safe doing it. It's like, it doesn't seem like it's that big. Like just having an Aegis is like that big of a advantage.
Well, it's not a big advantage if you can't use it. Like those guys, they go for Roche immediately because number one, they know it's really good golden experience for their team, and 2, like they know exactly what the Aegis provides them. Like they know the strength of their heroes and how having an extra life really affects their team fight. Like they know the exact results of the team fight, you know, from their own, or at least they have a good idea. Like maybe they don't know exactly, but they understand it better than like 2K pubs will.
Right.
So, and also they have the coordination to immediately go to Roche when they can, and that's another big thing. But to answer your question directly, it's like it's too hard for me to give you a good answer without knowing like a bunch of other shit. Like, where is the gold on their team?
I guess like heroes, yeah.
Yeah, what heroes are on their team? Which towers are down? How rich you are? What heroes are on your team? There's just like so many different factors that play into that.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
All right,
Okay.
well, I suppose that's it.
Okay, I can wrap things up. Basically, from what I've seen, I think you would benefit most from like lane control and just like keeping the creep wave as far back as you can, you know, in a safe place, and also like really trying to figure out what your heroes are good at. Like Tiny is good at one-shotting certain heroes, and he's also pretty good late game. Like he's a good damage dealer. So I recommend you just sticking to like a couple heroes, and it seems like you already do. Like you said, you play a lot of Spectre, and that's fine. But I recommend sticking to a couple heroes and trying your best to like never miss a kill opportunity, or like never go in when you're not supposed to, or whatever, and just really like try to get those heroes down. And I think that would benefit you in the long run.
Right. I do play a lot of Kunkka.
Oh,
Is,
holy shit,
I don't know,
okay.
probably my other most played hero, and I kind of go like the weird, attacker build, like blink, drums, crit, whatever. And it doesn't always work out.
Yeah.
My win rate has been like pretty much 50. Even since I've started like playing him pretty seriously. And I think that's actually mainly because
Dire's bottom
I
tower is under attack.
I just don't use his. I don't really. I kind of underestimate him as a caster early game, and I don't like take advantage of that before he turns into just like blink in, try and do as much
try
damage
to
as
one-shot
possible
people.
with Tidebringer.
Okay, so I think Kunk is a great hero, but
Dire's top
my
tower
recommendation
is
to like
under
every
attack.
hero or every player that's below like 5k or so is to stay away from heroes like Kunkka that are like really mechanically intensive. Like basically the big reason is Kunkka has so many things going on with like X combos and torrent timings and like timing your boat and also hitting your allies with boats to give them a run buff. He has so many things going on that like you're distracted from the things that really matter, which are fundamental skills like can I kill this guy? Am I positioned properly?
Yeah.
What's my job in this game? So you're distracting yourself with things that are like really minuscule that only apply to Kunkka, whereas you could be learning like big overarching lessons by playing simple heroes. But that being said, I'm not going to stop you from playing Kunkka or whatever. Like play what you like.
Radiant's
But
bottom
I
tower
definitely
is
recommend
under
that
attack.
from a strictly getting better perspective. It's better to just play simple heroes and try to master
Radiant's
those
middle tower
before you
is
move
Yeah.
on
under
to like
attack.
more advanced ones.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, I have like. I've been losing like the most MMR just by trying to play heroes that like Storm Spirit and shit. That
Yeah.
I mean, even though Storm Spirit like it's pretty simple as long as you know how to, like just use your mana properly or
He's
whatever.
not simple
It's-
at all.
Dire's top
well,
tower has fallen.
I actually had this conversation with a friend. Like, I think as long as in the laning phase, you know how to like farm and use your mana efficiently, it's like, you're
I
pretty
mean,
much set.
That's true, but
Pretty
like,
big pub stomp hero, I think, as long as you know how to get like a Bloodstone Orchid up soon.
well, there are so many things that go into that though. Like, I'm not gonna like go ham on you here, but there are so many like different things that applies to managing your mana properly. Like, biggest one being like a lot of people don't know how to farm effectively before they get Orchid Bloodstone or whatever, and also like they don't know when it's bad to farm and when it's good to go for kills pre Bloodstone. I
True.
don't know. There's so much stuff that goes on that like makes Storm a hard hero. He has like a medium skill floor, but I'd say he's one of the highest skill cap heroes in the game by far. Like just with how mechanically intensive he is.
So skill floor, is that just like kind of base?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
base mechanical requirements to play the hero.
Okay.
Like I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Like whereas Spectre has a super low skill floor because all you have to do is like last hit and then haunt in and dagger somebody and right click
Yeah,
on them.
exactly.
And you're set. Okay, so big things are try to understand your heroes a little bit better. Like do your best to really think about like how many spells you need to kill somebody, what your combos are, etc. And
Yeah.
also try to stick to like I'd say like 3 or 4 heroes and just try to get as good as you can at those.
Okay.
And I think
Should
that would
they?
help you out a
I
lot.
mean, are you talking about like all across the board, or just like focus on like position 1, focus on mid, or something like that?
Well, I think like, okay, why don't we just do like a little plan here of heroes that we can play for
Okay.
reroll. Okay, so are you like a carry player? Is that what you want to play?
Dire's bottom tower has
Well,
fallen.
I don't know. I just play whatever's fun. I can't really.
Okay. So, since we watched 2 carry replays, I'm gonna call you a carry player from here on. But you don't have to
Okay.
commit to this, obviously.
Sure.
So, we'll choose like 3 carry heroes that we can play. Spec, Tiny, and I also think Tiny is like a bit tricky too, but it's fine.
Well, okay.
Do you have any other heroes that you like to play that are carries?
Yeah, carries. I play Slark, but I don't know. I'm okay at Slark. Let's see. PA, but I've been playing her mid, honestly, more just because I feel like I have a higher impact in the early game. Yeah, I wouldn't really call myself a carry player.
Okay, that's fine. Do you have any role that you would call yourself? Because that would make things easier here.
Yeah.
Radiant
I
structures
just,
are
have you
fortified.
ever? I sort of just like to roam. If I'm not playing like a carry or mid, that's normally what I like to do. I just pick like Mirana. I have like,
Okay.
yeah, I have 40 games played on Mirana, and
Oh, I think you should stop doing that personally. But roaming is fine. But I think Potom is like, she's like, when you're learning Potom, basically all you're teaching yourself is like, I need to hit my arrows or I don't do anything, and like that's such a binary way of thinking. Like, all I need to do is hit my spells in order to win. Whereas there's so much more to Dota there. Like, yet that you're missing out on by just playing Potom. So, here, I'm gonna give you some carry heroes to play, because I think this is the best role to learn on, even though, like, you're not a carry player or whatever.
all right.
Do you play Wraith King?
Okay. I played a game of Wraith King today, and I played a game of Wraith King 2 or 3 days ago. And what I find is that, you have like 3 spells that are. You have one. Okay, so you're active. It's just a simple stun, like a targeted stun. And then your other 3 spells require no skill. So it's just pretty much right click. I don't know, like make sure you have enough mana for your ult.
Okay, you're right.
Eh.
So, do
Maybe
you think...
Jug. Jug's pretty fun,
Hold on.
say.
Do you think you could get high MMR by playing Wraith King?
Probably, yeah.
Like, how high?
Very straightforward. I don't know. Like my floating MMR is like 2.4, but I've been up to like 2.6, and I don't really find it like that much harder. So
Like, it's not. I'm talking like high MMR. I'm talking like 5K, like 6K.
Oh, really?
Not just like higher.
Yeah.
Like, do you think you could do that by playing Wraith King?
Just playing Wraith King?
Yes.
No, I could not.
Okay, because you're right. Like, basically, I recommend playing just simple dumbass heroes like this, because there are so many things in Dota that like apply to every hero that like you can only learn if you're focusing on them, or
Right.
or unless you're just like naturally good at games and you have a lot of like mileage under your belt. Like, even though this hero is the epitome of just like simplicity, like he's so simple. All you have to do is stun people and make sure you have mana for your ult. It's still like, if it was so easy to play Wraith King, then everyone would be doing it to 5K. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, a lot of people don't have the mechanical skill to be playing Invoker or Leshrac or Storm Spirit.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, don't be afraid to play simple heroes. It will really benefit you, and not just in terms of MMR. Like, you'll learn a lot from playing them.
Are there any heroes that you can think of that would, teach me the basics, but that I could also, have like fun playing? Because it's pretty much why I play Dota.
Yeah, no, of course. Let's look at them. I'll just write down a few here. Okay, so I think Spectre is one, but she's a bit weird because like she can also teach you bad habits, and like on other heroes that don't have global spells, you might not know when it's best to fight, and like that decision will be like alien to you. So Spec is one, but it's a bit different. I think Drow is another one.
Okay. Drow is I hate playing against Drow so much. You get like 6-second silenced. It's the worst.
Yeah, she can be pretty annoying, but she's simple. Like, you just right click things and silence things, but she's actually like, she teaches you how to position really well by playing her. Sven is another one.
Like Blink Dagger on Drow, or
depends entirely on the game. I don't want to like go too crazy on that, but Blink is a good choice in a lot of games. Sven is another one.
Okay.
Like, he will teach you to farm efficiently and like really abuse your timings and your kill potential. Who else? Tiny is like tricky, but he's an okay one.
I also sort of like playing. I mean, obviously, like Nature's Prophet is not a carry, but I do like playing PL, Lycan heroes that can kind of like split push and like just
Okay.
know like when you can just like take a tower and stuff.
I think PL is fine, but it's like a little tricky because the hero is like so weird, and his power specs are so weird. I'd say
Mhm.
sticking to Lycan is fine. Like Lycan's a good hero to learn as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I fucked this up, but we're fine. All right. So let's move on to like mid heroes. Zeus, Lina, Death Prophet. These are heroes that like have pretty high skill caps, but fairly simple kits. Like you just nuke things on Zeus, you nuke things on Lina, try to hit your stun out of Yules. That's important. Death Prophet, you silence people and go for siphon kills in lane, and you use Exorcism. They're all pretty simple, but they have really high skill caps, and you can learn a lot on them.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty fun, but like it varies depending on the person. I mean,
No,
I think
I've played a decent amount of Lina.
Mhm.
Actually, not so much like Lina mid, because I don't know. I used to just like play Lina support, which isn't that good.
no, it's fine.
But you know,
Dire's middle tower
Okay,
is
yeah,
under
that's fine.
attack.
I think Lina is like one of the best heroes to learn the game on actually, because she has so many things that she can do. Like you can control the game through pushing waves, you can control the game through getting kills.
right?
Preferably you do both, but yeah. I think she's good. Offlaner's a bit weird, but let's talk about like Tide, Centaur. Who else? Abaddon, sort of. Not really though.
Clockwork like it all or not?
Clock is way too hard,
Okay.
in my opinion. Like he's my most played, and like
Oh, really?
yeah, he's my favorite hero by far. But like he has so many nuances to him that like make him a hard hero. Like I don't
Super
recommend
fun,
him.
though.
Like
I love playing Clock.
he's super fun, dude. I love playing the hero. He kind of like isn't that great right now, but he's still really fun.
Yeah.
What
What do you think about that like circle versus square change?
I think it
It's not
was. I think it was overall pretty good. Like, it makes it easier for the opponent to dodge the cogs, but like, you avoid the situation of where you cog an enemy in, and then you battery assault, and you're hitting people on the outside or units on the outside of cogs. Whereas now,
Yeah.
if you cog them in, you can only hit the people that are inside the cogs, which I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like I have more control, like cog bouncing people, but yeah, it's fine. Okay. For easy offlaners, I recommend Tide and Centaur. I think those are fine.
Okay.
Easy support heroes, CM, Dazzle, Lich. I don't recommend playing Lich that
Dire's
much, but
middle
like he's a
tower
good one
is
to learn
under
on.
attack.
Ogre. I think that's about it. That's all you need, really. Oh, Witch
Okay.
Doctor as well. Okay. Yeah, basically, like, you can play whatever you want, but I think these are the heroes that will, like, get you the most valuable experience possible, at least at your
Okay.
skill level. When you get
Okay.
to, like, 5, 6K, you can start adding the complicated heroes.
When
that'll be fun.
yeah.
Yeah, when,
Right.
dude? You gotta be positive. I mean, I'm not saying I can do that for you, but it's
no
not.
way. There's no way.
Alright. So, why don't we end this session with like a goal? What is
Okay.
your goal for like 6 months of playing Dota from now?
In 6 months, I definitely just want to have like a better laning phase, and also instead of just like AFK farming, kind of be more aware of what's happening on the map. I don't think that this might be like too matchup based, and this would just come with like years of experience, but kind of like knowing what the hero I'm playing is capable of, and weaknesses, drawbacks, stuff like that.
Okay. Well, years of experience obviously helps. Like, there's no way that would be bad. But
Right.
really, it's not something that like you're limited by if you're inexperienced. Basically, just if you're playing Dota and you're thinking about stuff, you'll naturally get better at it. But okay, so you want to have a better laning phase. What about like a number goal? Like, what do you play ranked a lot, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the number goal
I
you
think
have?
I told somebody that I wanted to be 3K by the end of this like school year, and then over the summer. We'll see how that goes.
Okay.
I'll play like a shit ton of Dota. Um, maybe 4K in like a year from now.
Okay. I think that's completely reasonable.
Right.
So, let's say goal for end of the school year is 3K. That's fine. I think you can get there just off what we talked about today and practicing your last setting. You could probably realistically just do it by getting better at last setting. This is the biggest issue I see in like low MMR players is they can't get enough gold out of the laning stage for their hero to be good. But if you do that plus apply what we learned today, I think you can very, very, very reasonably get 3K, like in a short amount of time.
All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna wrap things up. I've been saying that for 20 minutes, but
It's
anyway.
true. Sorry for going over.
No, don't worry about
by
it.
20 minutes. Do you mean? Okay.
I wouldn't be here if I was like bothered by that or anything, so don't worry. Yeah, if you have any like questions later on, feel free to Skype me. I don't bite.
All right.
Yeah, well, good luck, dude. I hope this was helpful.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, would I go like through Dota Coach if I wanted to do another one, or could I just like get your PayPal and do it that way?
Generally, it's better for me to do it through Dota Coach, and it's like safer
well,
for you.
I guess you get like the whatever they call it, like experience or whatever.
Yeah, the reputation. Plus, like
Reputation.
you can leave reviews or whatever. And speaking of which, I'd really appreciate it if you took the time to leave a little review. Like it doesn't have to be long.
Where's your Dota Coach page?
You don't have to do it right now,
Sure.
but like I would really
I could
appreciate
do it.
that. That helps me out so much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, man. Again, I hope this is helpful. And if you have any questions, just let me know.
Definitely. All right. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, no problem.
See you later.
All right. Peace. Good luck.
Thanks.